Good evening, this is News Mongolia. I'm Satlangkort in the MNB World studio. For our top stories, COVID-19, 585 more cases reported on Thursday. The government has announced 100 projects to be implemented until 2030. Half of the state budget was covered by the mining sector in 2020. For other news, stay tuned. The Ministry of Health reported that 585 new COVID-19 cases were confirmed nationwide in the past 24 hours, and 9 more people have died.
As of today, 585 new cases were confirmed after about 10,000 people were tested nationwide, which brings the total number of COVID-19 cases in Mongolia to 47,033. 1,548 more patients have recovered. 9 more people between the ages of 64 to 91 have died due to the COVID-19 complications within the past 24 hours, and the death toll is now 193. Of today's new cases, 478 cases were confirmed in Ulaanbaatar, while 106 were confirmed in the provinces and 1 is an imported case. Among the 4,525 COVID-19 patients being treated at hospitals, 54% are showing mild symptoms of illness and 116 are in critical condition. Additionally, 4,349 patients are being treated at home. Health officials encourage people to strictly follow the precautionary measures and get vaccinated, stating that the risk of getting exposed to COVID-19 in the country is still high and the public should not relax.
100 projects for the next 10 years have been announced. 3 key areas have been identified, such as governance reform, improving the quality of life, and its successful implementation, as all could play an important role in growing the economy threefold.
Mongolia plans to build an Oyo Talga underground mine, a Taon Talga coal concentrator, a copper concentrator and processing plant, a Nirten technology park, an oil refinery, a metallurgical plant in Dornogov province, and metallurgical complex in Darhol over the next 10 years.
As you know, coal accounts for about 37 to 40% of Mongolia's total exports. Iron ore, copper, gold and coal together account for about 93% of Mongolia's exports. There are projects that focus on growing non-mining sectors such as energy, agriculture, IT, tourism and transport. More than 80 projects and economic activities have a total budget of about 55 trillion MNT. Of these, 9 projects are strategically important for national security and must be controlled by the state. 12 to 13% or 8 to 9 trillion MNT of these 55 trillion MNT will be invested by the government, and those 9 projects will be owned by the state.
The price of mining raw materials is rising on the world market. In the case of copper alone, the market price has now exceeded $10,000 per ton. This decade plan coincides with the Mongolian government-approved Vision 2050 program.
If these 100 projects will be implemented, the existing economy will grow threefold. It is estimated that the GDP per person could reach $8,000 to $10,000. We could reach the same level as Kazakhstan. We've been talking about this for a long time. Now we can fulfill this through projects. I'll monitor the implementation of these projects remotely through an online service. I'll monitor what stage we are at and what stage of implementation we are at. Everything else will be overseen by the relevant cabinet ministers.
It would take more time if these projects were all implemented by the government alone. Therefore, the government is actively seeking to open these projects to foreign and private investment and is looking for a public-private partnership.
The General Department of Taxation reports that the Mongolian mining sector alone covered half of the state budget in 2020. The top 10 taxpayers were all mining companies. They contributed 1.7 trillion Mongolian turk to the state coffers in 2020.
The total amount of collected tax revenue in 2020 was 5.4 trillion Mongolian turks. That was 98% of the budgeted amount, and half of this tax revenue was generated by mining companies operating in Mongolia. The pandemic was a challenging time for this company, but the report shows that they still paid their taxes despite the pandemic. Along with the mining sector, there were other economic sectors that helped to uphold state revenue.
Эдийн засгийн салбарын ангиллаар нь тооцоод
According to our data on economic sectors, around 10 sectors showed growth or normal results, while the remaining 15 sectors indicated a decline in their activities. Sectors that showed growth during 2020 were mining, transportation, construction, banking, insurance, processing plants, wholesale, and retail. The state budget of 2020 heavily relied on these industries.
тоо мэдээ тайлангаар өмчилж гарч ирж байгаа юм.
Besides tax revenue, state income for mining has also become the pillar of the government's COVID-19 relief plan to cover the cost of heating and electricity for citizens and entities. The relief plan is continuing until July 2021.
Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Thank you for staying with us on MNB World. Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
On May 11, 2021, State Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Akhbay received the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Kazakhstan to Mongolia, Jalgas Adilbayev, and they exchanged views on bilateral and multilateral cooperation. The Republic of Kazakhstan is chairing the Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia from 2020 to 2022. During the meeting, Ambassador Adilbayev presented a revised draft of Catalogue of Confidence-Building Measures to Secretary of State Akhbay. The catalogue will be the main document to implement the goals and objectives of the Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia, and the parties exchanged detailed information on the amendment to the catalogue and the ongoing reforms to be made in the context of the pandemic. The Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia is an international conference aimed at deepening cooperation and building trust in all aspects of peace, stability, and security in Asia. It currently has 27 members and 13 observers. Mongolia Immigration Agency will start delivering documents of foreign nationals by a courier service. In order to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and to bring government services closer to the public, the Mongolia Immigration Agency has signed a cooperation agreement with KGB Tigbe Courier Service. It is now possible to have your documents such as passport, residence permit, and certificate delivered in Ulaanbaatar at the request of the foreign national or the invitee. Requests to Mongolia Immigration Agency will be reviewed and the document will be delivered to the client within 24 to 36 hours after the decision is made. If refused, the payment will be refunded. With the introduction to the courier service, foreign nationals invitees will save time by not having to come in person to pick up their documents and receive reliable and fast hand-to-hand delivery service.
Here is the weather forecast for the world's major cities. This is it for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.